Hi everybody, I'm back again and I am here with another chapter as I practice everything and kind of getting the hang of doing some regular streaming again. Yeah, so for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm on the fourth chapter already, so you might want to go back and watch past broadcasts. But for those of you who've been with me for a little while, yeah, welcome back. And also, so I'm on chapter 4 of The Guardian of the Sword. This is another version, an alternate manuscript of a book that's already been published by I published of my dad's. But this is like another version I found after I published it, so go figure, right? And I'm just trying to kind of confirm what's the same and what's different. So we'll go from there. And it's also a matter of me practicing, getting used to talking to people, that sort of thing, chit-chatting. Well, not really chit-chatting, that's the other thing. I will see the people in the chat, but I may not be able to actually say anything until after I get through this, which is we're gonna say like just almost 10 pages, so it shouldn't take too long for me to read. But if you do have questions or anything like that, then just feel free to type away and I will go from there. Alrighty, so chapter 4. Saddle your horse and string your bow. Horseman forth to the plains we go. A cup for the journey, a cup for its end. A cup to remember a fallen friend. A cup for Avantir's lord and the king. A cup for the man who can still stand and sing, but obviously can't talk. Orin was seriously concerned. Young men, Guardian. They join you to fight, and they desire to go to the plains and let the Hygerians feel their arrows. They are complaining. They say that all they are doing so far is to wear their backsides raw, learning to ride and shoot from horseback. Rorik nodded. I have heard. But practice is necessary. We are the last army of Alsman, and if we are beaten, I think there will not be another. We must be thoroughly trained, able to do our tasks well and quickly, to move like a bolt of lightning, strike and be gone before the Hygerians can rouse themselves. When we have reached that state, we will move. Until that time, we will do nothing more than go horse hunting. And yet you've sent 20 men to skulk in the marshlands and attack the Dark Ones from there? But for a different purpose. They do not attack more than we do, who remain in the hills. They spread the rumor that the prince has come down out of the hills, knowing that the Hygerians, having conquered the lowlands, will be moving on the hills now. And the marshes, which are unfit for cavalry, are a better hiding place. But neither are they fighting. They are raiding, making their presence known, but not so much as to bring the Hygerians in and to hunt them down. Tell the young men that if they will be patient a few weeks more, they will have more fighting than they want. I will tell them, answered Orin, fingering his amber necklace, but they will not like it. If they have no action soon, my Lord Guardian, half your horsemen will be gone, off to be bandits. The arms of the Hygerians consisted of long lances, several javelins each, and a sword and a shield. When they saw the oncoming horsemen, it was a moment before they could truly believe that these were foes bent on battle. Just as they began to prepare to fight, the horsemen broke into a gallop, riding along the flanks of the Hygerian formation, loosing arrows at little more than a spear's length. 6 of the Hygerians fell, and the others took their long lances and turned in pursuit of the horsemen, who waited a little way up the hill. A cloud of arrows met the Hygerians, and the two who remained fled up the trail, with the horsemen whooping in pursuit. As Rorik rode, one of the Hygerians, who had been dismounted by an arrow, pulled a javelin hastily from his saddle case. The javelin flew, gashing the guardian's arm. Then his horse full ran into the Hygerian, sending him flying. The surviving Hygerians came upon the two horse guards, who loosed arrows with deadly accuracy. Rorik, giving quick orders to have the horses rounded up, wrapped up the tail of his cloak around the wounded arm. It was not serious enough that they should take time over it now. They rounded up 7 of the Hygerian horses, losing only 2 of their original herd. They were understandably jubilant. Words, they're hard. Therefore, when they arrived at Carilde dawn, in the paleness of the early morning, people crowded around to hear their exploits and to inspect the war gear taken from the Hygerians. A number of them were pressed into service to help corral the horses. Helena, daughter of Chief Orn, was watching with interest. When the horses were being put away, and one young lad with glowing eyes had been awarded the privilege of seeing to the guardian's mount, she approached Rorik. Best have that wound seen to, guardian. Rorik pulled his mind back from his elation at a blow struck against the Hygerians, the spoilers of his home. What's this? Nothing but a scratch, lady. Nothing to worry over. Indeed? And if your prince should lose you through poisoning of that scratch, would that then be something to worry about? Come. He followed her to the chief's home, and spoke as she busied herself with water, herbs, and cloth. Beyond the fact that you are Helena, daughter of Orn, I know nothing of you. She smiled at him quickly. And you are Rorik of Aventyr, guardian and wielder of the sword. And you've been so busy dashing from here to there, explaining, instructing, arguing, and commanding, that it is flattering that you should even remember my name. But how could one forget? She laughed. Lord Guardian, I am but a hill chief's daughter, not one of your city women who delight in those fine, meaningless words, which is not to say that I do not like to hear them now and again, only that I do not believe them all. I regret, my lady, that I am not of the townmen, well versed in the best of fine and meaningless words for any particular occasion. I have been a warrior too long to develop that particular skill. Ah, and listen to him, now denying that his words as fair as his sword arm is feared. He grinned at her, then said, One thing I regret, though, is bringing our war here to your hills. Ah, but it is only your war for the moment. I have heard my father speak on the subject, and he does not trust Razek. He feels that Razek may turn to the hills when he is done with the lowlands. In the days long past, great Ikar led our people out of war and slaughter on the plains below. Since then, we have held these hills. Ilok, the rash son of Conall the Wild, sought to make us part of his kingdom, and discovered that we had more arrows than he had warriors. And to the north of the hills, the Dunmavai and the Havartai, wild folk ever seeking a road into Alsbaun for plunder. So, we are not unused to war here, as Razek will find when he comes against us. All the same, answered Rorik, we of Alsbaun are grateful that you will fight on our side, lending us your strength even before Razek forces war on you. Would we not be fools to do otherwise? If we fight now, we have what aid you can still give us. If we wait until you are beaten, then the burden will fall on us, alone and friendless. She laughed then. Now I'm sounding like one of your officers. Tell me something of your journey to the plains. There's little to tell. We rode at night, hid during the day, and fought only once, when there was no other choice. But in spite of that, they found things to talk about for some time. Word of the skirmish got round, and soon numbers of young men were coming around to offer themselves and their bows to service of the king of Asbelon. In addition, a few days later, a party of hunters led a group of 30 lowland lads to come to fight for their king. Rourke was kept occupied in establishing the new system of training. Some, such as Connell and Buran, were swift to see how the new methods should work, but others doubted them. "Little luck will come of it," declared Ulron, son of Conair, blowing his long mustache as he emphasized his words by thumping his axe on the ground. "Little luck will come of abandoning our ways of fighting for these new things." "In our force here," answered Rourke, "I doubt we have over 100 who have fought other than to protect the steading against bandits. When better to teach new ways of fighting to an army? And we lost battles plenty because we did not fight better than the Hygerians. They are horsemen. We are mostly infantry. Until we have the numbers of well-trained horse to match them, we must match our tactics to our abilities and use our men as they are best used. Our infantry will stand like a rock, wearing down the Hygerians with bows and holding them off with spears if they try to close. Our cavalry will protect the flanks of the infantry, preventing the army from encircling us. We must always seek a place to fight where we can protect one flank by placing it against the stand of trees, a river, or a marsh, to allow our cavalry to concentrate in one group to hold off theirs. And we must never, never, never attempt these glorious, smashing charges of which we speak, until such a time as our defense has thoroughly wearied them. It is a cowardly and unfitting way for men to fight." "Indeed? What is fighting then? What is fitting then? To lead this motley collection down and rush against the walls of Verdun, to die there and let Razak have the land of Asbelon to do as he wills? Or might it not be better to use caution, to make plans, to go out and fight the Hygerians, to defeat them, to drive them from the land of our fathers?" Ulron, though not thoroughly convinced, at last agreed grudgingly to comply, at least until the first battle should prove the issue. But later, as Connell and Rourke talked alone, the prince himself expressed misgivings. "We have made promises to the Lowlanders," he said, frowning. We have told them that their prince is coming to free them from the Hygerians. But so far, all they have seen is hillmen coming to ask for their homes for the king's army. I fear that already they will be beginning to think that any bandit could do as much. If we do not come down with an army, and soon, we may well find ourselves without support. Connell, we are not ready. I have said it before. We are the last army of Asbelon, and we dare not lose our first battle. But we must prove to our people that we are an army, not merely a pack of bandits who claim to act in the king's name. Rourke scowled in thought. Let us think on it, Connell. There may be a way to prove ourselves without risking our whole force. For all Connell's fears about the mood of his people, they were never short of supplies or of information. For some time, the Hygerians had had a post outside the town of Verdun. It was a log stockade with a small garrison, but word had come that it was being stocked with supplies. It appeared that some sort of expedition into the hills was imminent. And so the plot thickens. Dun dun dun! At any rate, so that was all for tonight for the for this chapter 4. It is different. It's a little more, it feels a little more concise. The other one was a bit like the other chapter or the other book doesn't go into this kind of detail. So I kind of like it. As I talk more, I find myself thinking that I'm probably going to end up having to like combine the two. Yeah. I learn these things. It's going to be a later on thing. Don't worry. For those of you who've already purchased Guardian of the Sword, not to worry. That is a long time off. I still have another book that I'm working on that I'm working on like scanning in, and well, I've already scanned it in, but I have to, once it's been scanned in, I then have to transfer all this text, which gets turned into computer gobbledygook. I have to turn it back into English so I can read it again. And then I have to edit it and edit it again. So I'll be going through that first before I publish this. But I mean, part of me wants to just do a special edition of just this, warts and all. We'll see how I feel. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and I will talk to you all again really soon. I know it's a very short one tonight. They can't all be long, epic chapters. I'm sure we will get to it. We're four chapters in, and I'm still seeing a whole lot of manuscript there. That is one chapter, and I've got like about that much of the completed manuscript. So just going by like stacks of paper, I got a lot of stacks of paper to go. Anyway, I will talk to you all again soon. Have a good night.